G'day everybody and welcome to Kampala Road. I was building something last night and a thought struck me, and it has struck me a few times and I'm sure others. It's what happened to Hornby. When I was younger, and even more recently, if you wanted to get back into model railways or start model railways, the company you turned to was Hornby. And I looked at my layout last night and thought, well, what is Hornby on my layout? And there is virtually nothing that is actually Hornby on my layout. And the reason I sort of thought about this was I was building their diesel maintenance depot, which I was positioning actually. Not finished, as you can see. It'll take me months to finish that, don't worry. But I was building that. There's nothing running on the layout at the moment. Thinking, what on earth is left on my layout that is actually Hornby? So when I actually counted what was Hornby on my layout, there are three things, excluding the new depot, actually I have purchased from Hornby for the model railway. And you actually can't see them from here, I don't think. I think you can see one, which is coming up now. That's a 56, which is a good model. Then I have a 50 somewhere in there. Again, a very good model. And then there's that A2 over there. That is a superb model. So why aren't I buying Hornby? I am more diesel than obviously steam, and I think Hornby in recent years, and have been for a long time, are stronger in steam locomotives. But they have a system. It's everything from point motors right up to the latest locomotive. And I think they've just lost their way. I mean, when I was a kid, or even more recently, if you wanted a locomotive, you'd go to Hornby. If you wanted your track, you'd go to Hornby. Generally speaking, you would go to Hornby, maybe not so much for your control system, but for stations, coaches, wagons, you would turn to the red and yellow packet. And their marketing was pretty slick when I was a kid. You used to thumb through the catalogues and dream of having a model railway like that. And looking at their marketing now, it's very, very toyish. Their catalogue is very toyish. You look at the pictures on the website, a lot of them look like toys, not models. So I am more diesel, and 70s, early 80s diesel. Again, recently, 15 years ago, Hornby led the way. They had the 08, which they upgraded back in the early 2010s, I think. The Class 31, which is an amazing locomotive. Complex, suffered from mosaic rot like most manufacturers did back in the day. Very, very good locomotive. Class 50 still stands up. I know Cavalex have done theirs, or I think it's Cavalex, or is it? No, it's Scale have done theirs. But the 50 is good. You can pick up one of those and be very pleased with the performance today. They have the 56, which had problems when it was launched. They used the wrong grease and it seized up the gearboxes. But again, the mechanism, basically once you've got it sorted out, they're still very, very good. Class 60, very good back in the day. And of course the HST, Class 43, which they still rule the roost on. But I think they had all that, and they've allowed the opposition and the newcomers to take over. They had superb diesel locomotives, and they've allowed Scale, Cavalex, and to a lesser extent Bachmann, to take the market away from them. Now I've just stuck this on the layout to to show I do have a Hornby locomotive for the railroad range. That's a great loco. I've got two halls, and I've got a D49 Hunt class in the steam. Excellent locos. And as I said earlier, the A2 Thompson, an excellent loco. They've had their quality problems, obviously, but most manufacturers are. I mean, even top-ranked manufacturers like Scale and Cavalex are having quality problems. It seems to be something that is a disease in the business. So I was looking at my layout and the track is not Hornby anymore, it's Pico, who have led and ruled the roost for a very long time. And there are people who make their own. Christ, hats off to those guys, absolutely amazing. So the track system is Pico. And I think that's the nickel silver where they jumped the gun and beat Hornby on that one. Point motors are Pico or anybody else that might be there. Locomotives, very, very few now Hornby. Wagons, I believe that is a Hornby wagon in the foreground, but there's a whole heap of other manufacturers now taking over. Control system, I had, my very first control system was a Clipper, H&M, who Hornby now own. And I think maybe that's part of the problem, which I'll come back to. And there's another Hornby wagon, the tanker, given to me by A.D. Pullen. Been trucking around the world with me, no pun intended. Buildings, none of them are Hornby apart from the depot I'm building, which you can pick up for a tenner. Coaches, Bachmann, a Curascale, and a couple of Hornbys around and about. DMU, that is Bachmann. My control system is Z21, not H&M, not Hornby. Now back in the day I did have the Elite DCC system, and that was very good, but Hornby decided to try and go it alone, well documented, and messed up, and had to then come back into the circle. But the Elite has not been updated for 15 years. The button pushing is immense. It's a very capable controller, but it's very slow how you get there in the end. But that hasn't been updated 15 years. And where are they going with it? And I think this is the problem. There are too many things to too many people. Buying Airfix, trying to supply model railways, trying to supply control systems, H&M, whatever. I think they're too diluted now. And whereas they are good in steam, they've lost their way with the diesels, which they led. It's not up to me to say where they go from here. Unusual sight on my layout. Because they know what they're doing, or they used to. I think their marketing isn't as good as it used to be. It's not as slick. They've got a corporate culture rather than a nimble marketing culture like, say, Curascale have. And they're not perfect. I've had a run-in with Curascale. I don't think their locos... I don't fawn over their locos like a lot of people do. I've had two now. Both of them have problems. My 55 and my 37. Cavalex, lauded for their detail and everything, but I believe they've had issues with a couple of their locos. So Hornby aren't alone in that area. I think for me, Bachmann seemed to be the steadfast, dyed-in-the-wool quality aficionados. I don't think anybody wants to see Hornby disappear. I do feel they need a change of tack. They've allowed the opposition in and taken their space and their money and their profit. And I think it's a real shame. But choice is choice, and we've got better models, you could argue, because Hornby have allowed them in. So I've got 3 trains running on this layout, and I haven't done this on purpose. There is a Hornby building there, but there are no Hornby items on 2 of these trains. All those coaches are not Hornby, they're Bachmann or Curascale. The locomotives are Bachmann. They are the new Bachmann Mark 1s, which are horrendously overpriced. £89 for a coach without lights and some Curascale there. And I've put that loco on coming past now just as a Hornby thing, but those wagons are not Hornby. I mean, Bachmann are dependable. Apart from my Class 31, all their locos are absolutely 100% reliable. They do a great job. Their marketing is woeful, as Sam's Trains has pointed out, but people know them for their quality. They know them for dependability. They know that when they open a Bachmann loco, especially the diesel ones, it'll work. The 56 in the background is still a good model. And 100, I think the price has gone up, but you could get them for around about 99 to 100 pounds. I think they're around about 130 now, but they're still good. But you can't take it away from Bachmann. They produce an excellent model. And the newcomers, Curascale and Cavalex, also producing excellent models. So my money goes where I think is right, and it's, for me, I've had a lot of Hornby quality problems, and that's witnessed in the back catalogue of my videos. And that 08 is absolutely amazing loco. It's just phenomenal. And I was a latecomer to Bachmann locos. That is a joy to play with, but I see the Class 13 is, with sound, pushing towards the £500 mark. There's no way I'm playing with that. So Hornby can produce good locos. This got absolutely vilified because of the colour was wrong, and really for a company experienced as Hornby, they stuffed it up. But the actual locomotive, its performance, its mechanism, is stunning. That loco has done many, many hours on my layout and has not put a foot wrong. And the more recent steam releases by Hornby show they can do it. The new tank they've got, I don't know what it is, the J13 is it? I can't remember. The 2MT they did about a year ago. They've got some great locos. That's the Bachmann 9F. I don't think they're quite as successful as Hornby on steam. Is that in focus? No. But it's a good loco. Doesn't have tender pickups, but doesn't have a problem. So just my thoughts really on, when I was a kid, I used to look at their catalogue, dream about some of the layouts or the pictures they had. Could my layout look like that one day? Sorry, got my Class 40 back from Uganda. Excuse the out of focus there. I used to dream of their marketing was good. Now I look at it and I think it's toy-like. In summary, I think the smaller companies have enthusiasts running them, people who actually love the hobby, have layouts themselves, and that's obvious by one or two of the companies and their YouTube channels. I think Hornby are run by corporate people, marketing people, corporate finances people, and they've lost their vision, they've lost the knowledge, they've lost what people want. They have not got their finger on the pulse, and it's a real shame. So that's my personal thoughts on why I don't buy Hornby and what's happened to them. A company that's out of touch with the enthusiast. And there, from Bachmann, are two marvellous locomotives. You cannot complain about those two. And running behind them is another Bachmann 47, just about to pass. That hasn't put a foot wrong since I bought it. And as I've shown on my layout several times, I've got other Bachmann 37s that are equally good and very old, 15, 20 years old. There's a 15-year-old Class 20 in the background, works perfectly. And so do the Hornby ones, the Hornby diesels, that range I mentioned. They're very good, but they've allowed the competition to catch up and overtake, and I'm surprised with that investment they put into those locos, how they took their eye off the ball and allowed the opposition to overtake them, because they did lead the way. And I think with the 43, which they still rule the roost on, Bachmann have released the prototype version of the 43, the 41 is it, the Class 41? Bachmann are now in a position, they're one step away from producing their own Class 43. Could they do it? They're big enough to. And it's a hellishly popular train. That's my 20-year-old 37 in the background. It's a marvellous locomotive, just brilliant. I've got to put the pipework on the front. I'm going to get rid of the snow ploughs, they're awful. Just put the pipework on. Anyway, that's my doodlings for today. I'll be back. I brought a couple of locomotives back from my other layout on the other side of the world, so the next video will be about that. And hopefully the engine shed will be finished. I doubt it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. What are your thoughts? Let's stop that, she's going to collide. What are your thoughts with what's going on at Hornby? I'll be interested to know.